I had multiple mentors. I had this group as part of my mentorship. I would also listen to podcasts. I read books. I became a nerd, a geek for real estate investing. And I network all the time with like-minded individuals. But the time includes your hours, the know-how, the resources, and you have to be connected. You know, if you're syndicating a deal, if you're being a general partner, you got to have someone who's bringing the money to the table, because you can just be the quarterback. It's not to say that you got to do everything, but you have someone that's bringing the money, you have someone who's bringing the credit, you have a person finding the deal called a real estate agent, you might have a real estate attorney, the whole 9 yards. Okay, so you have to be well connected. Okay, so I want to know from you guys, right? I want you to do some soul searching. What do you bring to the table that's valuable? Do you have the credit? Okay, which is fine. I didn't have the credit either. I know what it's like to have collection companies call you all the time asking for that payment. And you know you don't got it. You're like, why you keep calling me, bro? No, bro. You know, when I get it out, you got it. All right. So the credit is fine. You can get that fixed. And we offer credit repair services at 1% Finance as well. Okay. Put the plug in here. So the credit repair. The credit. What about the money? How many of you guys have the money? One guy? Two? All right, just everyone like, all right, let me write that down, lady in the back of the hat. All right, so the money and then the time. Who has the time?
Should all have the time.
All have the time, right? So now these terms sound pretty vague. Because my definition of credit can be different from yours. So what do I mean by credit?
720 plus.
720 FICO score.
Yeah.
Excellent. What else?
The cards in your hand, the money team.
The money team. Good, good. What else?
For credit? Credit, you mean?
Yes.
Low debt to credit ratio.
Excellent. Of what percentage? 30%. Okay, okay. So you have 30% debt utilization. Debt utilization is how much debt you have charged to a revolving account. So for example, if I have a $1,000 credit limit with Bank of America, and I charge $700 to it, my debt to credit ratio in that scenario is 30%. Well, here's a quick tip.
Oh, that's what I was going to question. That means because there's different things with DTI. That has something to do with like, well, what's your what salary you were earning in the last 2 tax years to what you're borrowing. Is that what you're getting at?
Oh, that's actually different. That's a great question. So he's talking about DTI, your debt to income ratio.
Right.
It's pretty much the amount of debt you have charged relative to the amount of money you make. Your debt to income. That's more for mortgages when you get qualified. And I'm a licensed mortgage broker, by the way.
Yeah.
I just don't practice it. Okay. So yes, we're talking about debt to income ratio. What I'm referring to is your credit is your debt to credit ratio. It just deals with your revolving charge accounts. Not installments accounts, not your income, just revolving, like credit cards. Okay. So a debt to credit ratio of 30% or lower, this is the tip. A quick way to improve your debt to credit ratio is to ask for credit line increases. And you should ask for credit line increases every 6 months. And say it's for business use, and ask them to do it as a courtesy without employing your credit.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. All right. So that's a quick way to improve your debt to credit ratio just by asking for an increase. Okay. So 720 FICO score, debt to credit ratio of 30% or lower, preferably a 10-year credit history, hard increase, meaning when you pool your credit, having 5 or fewer. Okay? That's what we consider as credit, but that's not it. Because when you're applying for mortgages, what else do they consider? Like we just mentioned, your debt to income ratio, and they also want to make sure you look good on paper. Meaning, do you have tax returns that are positive? Do you have documented income? That could be 1099s, could be W-2s. They want to make sure that you have full documentation. They may also want to see bank statements for the past 2 months, pay stubs, and so forth. Okay? So that's what I mean by this credit. To see if you look pretty to mortgage companies. Now, if you don't look pretty, that's perfectly fine. You can get that makeup later. That's what the credit repair is for. So you can make your credit look pretty over time. But there's power in knowing. The sad thing is, most people just say, well, I already know my credit's not up to par, so I know I can't move forward with real estate investing.
That's not true.
It's not true.
It's not true.
Right. If that is the case, let's say your credit is not up to par. When you're sick, what do? You see a doctor, right? And the doctor looks at the whole situation and prescribes your remedy. Likewise, let a mortgage broker be your doctor. Let a mortgage broker look over your whole credit, your income, and advise you with a remedy. And say, hey, you don't qualify, but you would qualify if you paid this Bank of America credit card by $2,300 or something like that. Or you would qualify if you remove these collections off your credit report. But it's free consultation. You can't pass that up. So that's the credit. So what about the money? I said the money, but that's kind of general as well. What is the money going to? Having access to money. So, like Ms. Rose said to me earlier, for her purposes, she said, oh, how does this guy keep bringing, like, raising capital, 15,000 here, 10,000 here? Yeah. It's because you got to have access to it. I'm not saying it has to come out of your pocket. People always say, oh, it takes money to make money. No, it doesn't. It takes this. But if it is true, let's say for argument's sake that is true, it doesn't have to be your money. It can be other people's money. You can't let a lack of capital be an excuse. That's all it is. It's an excuse. You can your personal credit. So that's what I did. My credit was bad, so I repaired my credit for 2 years. So for you guys, it's not going to take that long. Our average class takes a roll for about 4 months. Okay. But for me personally, trying to figure it out, it was 2 long years. To the point it got pretty, 620, not that pretty, it was decent, you know what I'm saying? It's a good little 7 out of 10 scale. But I got it to the point where I can qualify for an FHA mortgage. And I bought a 2-family. There's a 1 unit, renting out the other. I did like the Airbnb model for international students. Okay? So I used that for mortgages. And I also use business funding. Okay, we provide that as well. So when you signed in, if you didn't put it on there, you can put it on the services as well for business funding. So I use business funding to finance my first 30 deals. Because when I initially got started, I tried raising the capital for partners. Had a hard time doing it. Why? It's the private money catch-22, right? Because partners want to make sure you have deals done before they give you money. But in order for me to get deals done, I need partners. So catch-22. So then I realized, okay, I can't escape it. I need to fix my own credit so I can do a couple deals of my own, and then I can raise capital through partners. So I didn't do any deals with partners until after having 30 rental units in my portfolio. Okay? But it's not to say you can't raise capital using partners. The only thing partners care about is one word: credibility. Are you credible? Because I had this one dude say this to me. I want to ask him to invest with me just get started. He said, all right, I understand what you're saying, but we're in the same position, bro, because I got more money than you do. So why would I give you my money so you can experiment with my money?
Like, yeah.
Yeah. But he was like, no. It sounds harsh, you know, to receive that criticism from a friend, but he was right. So I said, I have to bring your credibility to the table. Yeah. Okay, and the time, now let's get specific with the time. I say at least 15 hours a week, 15 hours of your week should be devoted towards real estate investment activities. Like this networking event, reading books, talking to real estate agents and so forth. Treat it like a part-time job. That's how I treated my spare time. Like it was a part-time job with my real estate investment. Like I would clock in and clock out. And I also try to multitask. So I worked hard at my day job, but I had Google Voice. Whoever contractor called me, I would bring my cell phone and my personal line on my work phone. Hello, this is Juan. They don't know that I'm talking to a contractor or a tenant right now.
That's what I do.
Yep.
It's my business.
Yep. I'll do my best to see how I can better manage my time. Okay? So now that we got that out the way, I'm going to show your hands again. How many of you guys have the time to bring to the table? Okay? Now keep them raised. If you have the time, but you don't have the credit and you don't have the cash. We're all families, so don't feel embarrassed. Okay, great. Little cash. Okay, so the preferred strategy if you're in that position, again, to get your first deal done in a year's time, you need to use creative financing. You guys familiar with creative financing? What is creative financing?
Creative.
What's the lease?
Well, give me an example. Yes, you said best lease. Yes.
Using other people's money?
Yes.
I know that's the, private lenders and hard money.
Private money, hard money.
Your terms, their price or whatever it may be that you're meeting, they meet your terms. They come to you.
Terms, okay. Anything else? Any examples? Any examples?
Like a land contract?
Land contracts. Sorry?
Seller financing.
Seller financing, excellent. So simple ways, right? Networks. So what I'm going to do is allow Louie to take the floor, so he can share with you some creative financing strategies to get your first deal done here. So if you have the credit and the cash, you can go straight into buy and hold. That's easy. Credit, cash, and you get the time, you're an all-star. You can do that, okay? But if you don't have the credit or the cash, that's perfectly fine. Again, you got to bring this to the table: the know-how, the knowledge, the connection. So Louie, again, he's a guy who has 24 units. He sold a few, so he would have more.
Yeah.
But 24, no banks whatsoever. Banks meaning mortgages. Okay. So let's give him a warm welcome.
I'm feeling a little under the weather, so sorry if I'm coughing. But the question that he asked earlier was, do you need credit to do a deal? And I'll just take you through my story briefly, because I have a longer version. But the more concise version is, like, when I first started in real estate, one, I didn't have the education, so I spent money investing in that. And then also, I didn't have good credit. I didn't know that credit was good, or that you needed credit in order to get a mortgage. I think I went to about 7 banks. I thought that was a lot, but now I know it's not. So I went to 7 banks trying to get a loan. They all told me no. Credit score was about 600. That's when I found credit repair, like the credit repair service. And then I was able to get that up to a 680. If I would have waited like a month, it would have gotten to like a 778. But I needed the credit. So I applied for business credit. I was awarded $16,000 of business credit. I used that money to pay for rent, marketing, like pretty much everything. So at the time, I was a PhD student at Cornell. So they were paying me a stipend, but I also needed money for marketing and other things. That's when I found out about creative real estate. Now, with creative real estate, there's a couple different strategies you can have. Wholesaling, lease options, buy and hold when you're using other people's money, time, or energy. So my first deal, I used the business credit. I converted the credit to cash at 0% interest, and then I used that money to put a down payment on a house. And I did that multiple times. Another deal, I partnered up with my property manager. I told him that this deal was $15,000 down, $10,000 down, $5,000 to fix the place up. Like, basically, I packaged the deal. And I said, instead of wholesaling this, let me see if I could actually get a partner on this. Like, figure out if you want to come in on a deal with me. So I had to figure out how to sell. So a couple of you talked about negotiating and selling. So that's pretty much what it is. When you're going to look for money, you're selling the deal. If you can't sell the deal, like, why should I invest in this? And the other thing is, why do I need to invest in this? Well, you need to invest in this because you put it in the bank, you only get less than 1%. This deal itself, the whole deal, brings in 20%. So I can share 10% with you. Like, hell, I can share 20% with you, but I'm not gonna do that, right? I want to make some money too. So when you're looking at negotiating and creative financing, you always want to look at, what can I give my partner? What can I give the other person? Then when you're using credit cards, you have to be very, very careful. Because yes, the credit cards are at 0% interest when you first get them. But what happens after that?
Right after 6 months or whatever time.
Well, after it's usually about a year to a year and a half that you're at 0% interest. So you are your own hard money lender. When I figured that out, I was like, why do I need a hard money lender when I can just tackle these small deals using business credit at 0% interest? Like I said, you have to be careful because when it jumps up, you want to refinance out and figure out. You always want to plan your exit strategy. That's why the education is important. Because before I ever buy a house, I know exactly how much I'm going to make on that house, as long as nobody steals from me, right? So I know exactly how much I'm going to make on this house for the next, 2-3 years, and we're looking at income. So, yeah, so like I said, it's a deal matrix. So you have credit, you have income, and verifiable income. So yeah, you can make a bunch of money, but if it's not W-2, and if it's not like an income bank statement, because that was my problem. Like I said, Cornell was paying me like a stipend, but when I went to the banks, they were like, don't care about that. It's not on W-2. You're not paying taxes on it. Like, yeah, you got the fellowship, but you know, that's not verifiable income. And then that's when I had to figure out all these strategies. So at the time, zero. And my first deal, like I said, I used business credit. My second deal, I was actually trying to wholesale a building. I think it was a $750,000 building. And the guy said, oh, I just need a partner with this. I'll put the money in. But I was like, this deal isn't good. Like, if you're going to partner with me, I'm not doing this deal. But I told him, I said, if I bring you a deal that looks good, like, and you will agree to it when you invest. And he said, of course. So I just figured out what he wanted. And I just did that for the rest of the investors. Even my property manager who invested with me, I found out what he wanted. Like, who would say no to $15,000 down and a 3-unit with a mortgage of $45,000 and 0% interest over 10 years? Like, the mortgage payments is what, $350. The rents that we bring in is $220, about $2,200. Like, who would say no to that deal? You make your money back in 8 months. So it's you have to analyze the deal and figure out how to sell that to your investors and your partners, because like that's the one key that you don't have. Now, if you do have money, you have to find people that know what they're doing. Either they have the time and they have the energy to go out and do it. And you can see the track record. Like Juan, he has 6,300 units. He can give you a breakdown of how much each of those units are making, you know, percentage and everything like that. And when someone can talk to you like that, you know that they're like trustworthy and they know what they're doing. So not only do they make money, but do they know how to make you money as well? That's if you have the money. And you know, let's say you have the money like Rob, for instance, he loves his job, right? Like you could speak to that, like that's what he does, but he just finds other people that fills that need, like other people that goes out and finds the properties. So you can be on either side. You can be on the side where you have cash, or you can be on the side where what we call a syndicator. Like you're raising and pooling cash from your family and friends and from other investors. So don't let credit stop you. Don't let bad credit stop you, because it's easily fixed, like easily. Who was that? There was somebody here I was talking to that said that I think they used the do-it-yourself credit repair and their credit jumped, but they had a question. Like, is there anyone here?
I think it was Sergio, I think.
Sergio or, yeah, so what was that?
My question was also around business credit, because I had ordered the audiobooks and the downloadable content.
Okay.
And, is that my phone?
I think the average.
And I took a step in clearing up some of my previous addresses and making some payments towards certain strategic loans that were outstanding.
And you did that yourself?
Through what was suggested in the book.
Or the do-it-yourself ebook?
Yes, the do-it-yourself ebook. And just recently, my credit jumped up like 43 points. Yeah.
Okay.
So at this point, right now,
Okay, I'll repeat what you said.
I'm actually like
Can you speak up a little bit?
excuse me. I'm actually like full-time learning. I've resigned. I'm 100% committed to whatever's going to bring me the income to be financially independent and invest in others at some point in time. And my question was to acquire business credit at this point. I'm a bit afraid because it's not.
Is that Amber?
I just turned mine off.
Mine is off. Mine is off. Yeah. So acquiring business credit at this point is a bit scary for me because I've never entered a field like this.
Yeah.
So having my credit at this point, not necessarily having the income to back it up on a weekly basis, but more so on a monthly basis to kind of just cover my bases. I'm not sure if it's the right time to apply for business credit towards purchasing a property, or if I should try to strategically put my bills in a position that I can continue to invest in paying down on my credit to increase my score even more before going full-fledged into something, or partner with someone or people that may have a better concept of how to go about it.
Okay. So I'm just gonna repeat this question quickly. So he wants to apply for business credit. He's full-time in real estate, and he doesn't know whether to apply for business credit or not at this time, or is that?
Yes, that's pretty much correct.
And there was a second piece too, like you wanted to know about real estate.
The concept of real estate is very new to me. I would like to know how to invest in multi-family units in order to not only sustain myself, but to kind of position myself towards being an investor in other things.
Yeah, so, okay. So, just to let you know, this is like what we do in like the monthly group coaching and the one-on-ones, more so in the one-on-ones. So we'll analyze your situation and like be able to give you a game plan where you could execute, right? So the first thing to do is just, like you said, go over your numbers. Make sure you know how much everything costs and then like to cut that out. Like you're making it, what you call it, lean. Jesus. So you're making sure that all your expenses are intact. But I would say if you need money,
yes.
if you need credit, then the best time to apply is now, like right away. Because with business credit, you don't need to have an entity that was alive for X amount of time like these other companies have. You could literally like set up an entity today and then get funded. Well, apply and get funded on that entity today.
Really?
That's what you did, right?
Yeah, my LLC is like barely a month old.
Exactly. So his LLC is barely a month old, and it's because of our process. We're connected with over 100 banks. We're connected with over 100 banks, so we're able to get those financing that other people can't get. There's two ways to build business credit.
Okay.
There's the personal guarantee rate, and then there's the not personal guarantee rate. What we do with the personal guarantee rate, because like you said, what, 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you do it the personal guarantee rate, where you're basically being the co-signer for this credit card, like you are being the co-signer for the credit card for your business. The thing is, it doesn't show up on your personal side, like personal report. So you can max those cards out and it doesn't affect your debt to credit. That's why it's good. The other reason it's good is because it's fast. Doing it the other way takes about at least a year. To get business funding without personal guarantee takes a year, and there's a bunch of stuff that you have to do. Like you have to open up accounts, and you have to buy accounts from different vendors and stuff that you don't even need. Trade lines. So you have to get trade lines for the business, give the business a credit history, so you're not involved. But that's not the, I mean, you can go either way you want. But to me, I needed money fast, so I went for business credit with personal guarantee. And it's pretty easy for me.
So I thought with the personal guarantee, so with the personal guarantee, whatever you get through your business credit is not affecting your personal credit score?
No.
Unless you default on it, right?
Unless you default.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, unless you default.
Okay.
There are a few companies, like exceptions, like Capital One, for instance. They link the business and personal together. So we don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something I have to interject too, because I have people who apply for services and be like, yeah, we don't need y'all services. I took your information from YouTube and did it myself. I get all these comments like, all right, good job for you. And this is why I say, well, what kind of card did you get? Oh, I got American Express and Capital One. I said, well, did you know American Express you can't convert to cash? So unfortunately, you can't use that for real estate investing. And what about Capital One? Oh, unfortunately, with Capital One, it reports to your personal credit report. So when you use that card, guess what? It improves your debt to income ratio. Not improves, sorry. It does the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Yes. Even worse. So just keep in mind, we got the game figured out. That's why we was able to start this company. All right, so we're going to switch gears just a little bit, guys.
Yeah.
But I still want you to share all the ways you creatively finance your deals, just so they know it's possible.
All of the ways?
Yeah.
All right, so we can start with, I'll just start with the broad terms, because each one has different ways to do them. But basic one is wholesaling. Wholesaling, you are basically a middleman or a middle woman, right? Like you're in the middle of the deal. You're gonna find a buyer, find a seller, connect them, make a fee. Right, simple. You're not selling the house, you're selling the contract. So that's wholesaling. Lease option, with lease options, it's kind of like wholesaling. You're gonna rent the property with an option to buy at a later date, maybe 2 or 3 years in the future. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna find a buyer to actually live in the house and rent it, and they're gonna have an agreement with you to buy it at a higher rate than what you had with the seller. So just basic example, if I want to buy it from the seller in 2 years from now for 100,000, my agreement with the buyer may be 110,000 or 120, or maybe even 105. It depends on, and then you could even collect on the monthly rents as well. So I rented it.
Well, I guess my question is, then why would somebody, one of the questions came up, Rogers, why would someone agree to a price when they're all they know the market could end up much higher than that price?
You said, why would someone agree to a price?
Saying, okay, 2 years, you said, let's say it was worth, what did you say, 150,000, you'll buy it, or.
Oh, let me answer that.
Yeah.
With these creative financing strategies, it requires your time, correct? We all understand that.
Yeah.
But why would the seller buy into your terms? It's because they're highly motivated.
Right.
The people we target are people who are in a need to sell position, but not a, I would like to sell. I would like to list it. No, I need to get this problem, headache property off my books. I'm facing a divorce. I got laid off. Unfortunately, I bought a 9-unit in January, and the seller, his son had a brain aneurysm, and he needed to sell the property so he can afford medical expenses. This dude was highly motivated. So those are the people we target, need to sell. And if you're in the need to sell, you'll be open to negotiate.
How do you find motivated sellers? Like, what's your best way?
Yeah, so we're gonna get into that. I just wanted to talk about the different deal structures, and then any follow-up questions we could talk about it after, and then you can come talk to me as well. But so talk about wholesaling, lease options, then there's syndication, which is like buy and hold, right? So buy and hold investing, simple enough. Find a property, you buy it, cash flow forever, right? But with syndications, it's you're not using your own money. Like I would go out and I'll figure out this, let's say at Hilton across the street, I'll figure out how much the income is, I'll figure out how much, all the expenses is, and then I'll figure out how much is the whole deal, and how much can I get to my investors. Good.
I'm in a situation like that right now.
Okay.
I was literally I got it under contract, but I need to find, that part I'm not worrying about. My main thing, learning from, like God, get under contract, because the guy, they're in a motivated selling situation, his wife has, cancer and stuff like that. So, like you said, they're motivated.
Yeah.
I didn't want to, of course, cash them out because I don't have that capital, because this is like a $700-something home.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, they wasn't feeling seller financing. But now it's like a wholesale deal for me. And I don't want to wholesale it because this is a cash machine. Yeah, it's like they basically built a house inside of a house. Like, yeah, swimming pool, like, yeah. And I'm like, I want this.
Yeah.
So
you gotta figure out good.
yeah.
So so those are like the basic strategies that I use. Like I said, there's variations of them. But like what he said, the basic thing I want you to take away from this is negotiating. Like you need to figure out what the other person wants. Like you can't negotiate unless you know what they want. Like if they want a red apple, but all you have is green apples, and you keep giving them green apples, you gotta say no.
Yeah.
Can you give the definition of syndication again?
So syndication is when you're pooling money from individuals to buy a property. Well, it doesn't have to be a property. But in this case, a real estate syndication, you're pooling your money together to go and take down a property that you couldn't do by yourself, or you didn't want to do by yourself. So let's say, again, $100,000 property. Usually the bank wants 20%. So with syndication, there's a couple things you need as a syndicator. You need to have good credit. And you also need to either have experience or have someone on your team that has experience. So because you're going to be collecting money from people, about 20 to 30% of the down payment, you're going to go to a bank and then close on it. And then everyone involved in the deal will own that property. So that's what syndication is. So you go to your parents, boyfriend, girlfriend, friends, raise 20% down payment, that's 20 to 30,000, and then you all share in the profits. So that's basically what syndication is.
So Louie, what's some other creative financing strategies? So we talked about lease options, you talked about wholesaling,
syndications, buy and hold. So
seller financing.
So seller financing, sorry, yeah, I did forget about seller financing. Seller financing is a special case because, again, there's a bunch of different terms. I actually consider lease option a form of seller financing, but we can talk about that later. Seller financing is where the seller says, all right, I'll take a certain percentage down, could be zero, zero's a percentage also. I'll take a certain percentage down and I'll be the bank for a certain amount of time. Usually, the structure usually lasts about 5 years. Yeah, it's on the loan. So I'll put it for 5 years, maybe I'll put 10% down, be generous. And then my goal is before 5 years, I want to fix up the property and then refinance with a bank and cash out the seller. My goal isn't to, so the reason I have 23 rental units without any banks is not because I wanted to. Like I said, because they didn't give me a chance to get a loan. So I didn't have the credit, the experience, and the verifiable income to get a loan. But now I do. Bank loans, that's what you want. You want bank loans. They're like 5% interest rate or lower. Partners cost money. Partners cost anywhere from 5% and up. Business credit cards cost money, 15%, 10% and up. Right? So you have to find a way, how am I going to exit this loan? Am I going to create a structure with the seller to hold this deal for 10 years at 0% interest or 5% interest? Or am I going to bring in partners for 3 years and then refinance? Or am I going to use business credit? So all of these strategies is something that we teach. And it all depends on your specific situation to pick the one that best suits you.